What's up, everybody? How you all doing? Vox&Hops episode number 34. I am stoked to be home. I just got back from a crazy great run with some crazy great people in Europe, and I had a lot of fun. I got to tell you that when you go out on these tours, you never know who you're going to end up sharing a bus with, what these people are going to be like. And I knew what to expect with Ingested, but Glory Hole Guillotine was the other band on the bus with us, and I didn't know what to expect, and it turns out that they were great people. So, another tour's in the books, and what a blast I had. I have to give a huge shout-out to our sound man, TM. This tour would have never ran as smoothly. A Vox&Hops alumni. A huge shout-out to my boy, Mega. What can I say? You are a part of the family, and I love and cherish you, and I'm looking forward to being with you again soon in Asia, coming up in July. My boys, the Slam Kings, the Door Slam Kings from Slamchester, UK, Ingested. I had toured with you before in the UK at the end of November, early December, and at that point on Hell Over Europe, I was very tired, having playing gigs night after night, and slinging merch as well every night on that run. I was very burnt out and tired, and you guys hopped on. You guys have been on tour. You've done like 200 shows that year, and it was just fun to hang out this time and be fresh, and we had just a great time all together. So huge shout out to the Door Slam Kings from Slamchester. Stoked to share more craft beers with all of you, and thank you so much. The boys, as I mentioned, Glory Hole Guillotine, our brothers from Chicago. Coolest dudes, really fun to party with, and a few of the boys don't drink at all, but they were just so cool. Nicest people. Huge shout out to all those boys. Thank you for guys for having a great sense of humor and putting up with all my silly jokes and my nonsensical ways and my love for craft beer. And on this run, we had bands jumping in and out. We had three of them. We had Insight, whom I interviewed, Richie Cavalera. Super stoked to share that with all of you. Great dude, great bands, very chill vibe. Excellent American styles, like heavy metal band. They were really cool, and super stoked to share that episode with Richie coming up in the next few weeks. You guys will not be disappointed. Some great content on that. The boys from Demonical was short-lived, our little hangs together. I didn't have much time to hang out with you because it was my first time in the Scandinavia, and I went sightseeing. I went out and saw a whole bunch of stuff in Stockholm. I'd never been there. I went and drank some great craft beers when I was in Copenhagen at Bo's house, as I mentioned last time, at Bo's Brewery, B-A-U-S Brewery in Copenhagen. If you are out there, you must check it out. It had probably some of the best beers that I drank while I was in Europe. And a huge shout out to Night Rage. They jumped in right at the end of the tour. We were getting a bit tired, and they were fresh. They were super fun and nice people to deal with. A huge shout out to all those boys. Stoked to hang out with you guys again and to play more shows with all of you. Our driver kept us safe, Frank. Thank you so much. He wears fur-covered clogs, and he plays the didgeridoo, and he got us around safely, got us home safely, and on top of it, I got to say, one of the nicest bus drivers I ever had, and also kept the bus impeccably clean. Huge shout out to you. Last but not least, the guy that filled in for Ollie, Dominic Grimard. Ollie, our bassist of Cryptopsy, is also the bassist of Cattle Decapitation, and Cattle Decapitation is in studio right now recording their new album, and Ollie couldn't be on this tour, so we called out one of our local boys, Dominic Grimard, and he came out and he filled in on bass, and I got to tell you, he was super cool. He loves craft beer, so right away with me, that's a winning point. He played really well. He was like super mature. Excellent dude to have on tour, and if the circumstances arise and Ollie's not available again, I will be more than honored to have you out on tour with me again, brother. So that's it. Great tour. Nice to be home. Today on Vox&Hops, I have my conversation, which I recorded on my previous tour in San Diego, the great Travis Ryan, who is in the band with Ollie, Cattle Decapitation. So here it is, my conversation with Travis Ryan, which we had outside of Brick by Brick in San Diego. Hope you guys all enjoy it. Vox&Hops, episode number 34.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
What's up, everybody? Today I'm in San Diego, Vox&Hops, and I'm with a good friend. It's been a long time I haven't seen him, Mr. Travis Ryan of Cattle Decapitation. How are you doing, brother?
Pretty good.
Yeah? What have you been up to?
Writing and eating, as Flo would say. I've been just writing and focusing on creative stuff, which is my favorite part.
I was just going to say that your creative process is very deep, well calculated.
Yes.
I'm always very jealous of your thought process. Can you take me through that, how that comes about?
It's more about just a good utilization of your resources. Like,
But you always have like
Wes Ben Scoter, having a kick-ass artist or, a good producer and obviously the right people, because I'm just the lyricist guy, vocalist, having good musicians to deliver the goods.
Mm-hmm. But you always for every album, as soon as you finish an album, you almost know what your next album's gonna be about.
I actually do this time too, which is weird because the last record, Anthropocene, I didn't come up. I was like stumped because I always have a plan B, and I think that was actually the plan A, but it was starting to go away because I couldn't figure out a way to make it work, and then suddenly it just all came together one day, and that's how it all happens, When with this one, I had the idea 2 years ago.
Okay.
And with the next record idea, which isn't going to be for another 5 years probably.
After your tour this one.
I think I have. We're going to go with that one, with the current record. This is the plan A or B or whatever that I had for this record, but it's going to come next time.
Okay.
So yeah, thinking ahead.
I remember we were on tour together in Europe, and you came downstairs. You're like, I had a dream. I know what my next shirt design's gonna be. It's the Four Horsemen of the.
We were in Italy.
How often does that happen? That you get these flashes of inspirations through dreams or through just like.
Usually when I'm driving, I've noticed.
Really? Okay.
So, which is weird. Or in the shower. It's always at a really inopportune time to...
When your mind is...
Have something, a way to write it down. Because I'll fucking forget it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've probably thought of the, for my intents and purposes, the perfect ideas before and just didn't write them down, and fucking... Gone. So, I have a constant running file on my phone that I jot ideas down and stuff, and... It's got like 100-something song titles, and half of it's totally stupid and dumb, and some of it's kind of usable.
I heard there's a very offensive one on the next one.
No. There is?
I think so. We'll talk about it after.
Oh, well, jeez. No, there's not... to the human race, maybe, yeah. But it's the same... I'm not going to say it's the same old shit, but you know what I mean. It's death metal, or it's extreme metal. What?
It's been called a lot.
You find your thing and you just stick with it.
That's it. Push it to the limit.
Yeah.
Push yourself to the limits.
Yeah.
Today we're drinking George Washington's Secret Stash IPA. It's an ale with hemp sativa extract added. Contains 4.20, of course, milligrams of CBD. And I got this beer from Alex Ward, who was a fan that brought out some brews to share on the podcast. So I thought...
Where's this from?
I believe it is from Denver.
A good
Aurora, Colorado
community.
it's from, yeah.
You ever been to True Brewing out there?
I have not, but Alex Ward also brought me out some True Brewery.
It's fucking good,
which I drank during my interview with Dave Otero.
Otero always has like a pony keg or so of that on tap.
I know he's good friends with
yeah, dude,
one of the owners.
Yeah, last two records we were there like all the fucking time drinking. They got really good beers there, dude. I can't wait to go back.
How easy is it of a decision just to go back to Dave all the time?
Well, obviously he helped us establish, I feel helped us establish a sound that a lot of people seem to like, that sort of drew the line in the sand apart from the rest of our releases,
It's almost at that point that the songs became more coherent and songy.
Yeah. What we find, dude, after 20-something years or whatever the fuck it was, by that time, 18, 19 years or whatever it's been, we at least finally found our guy, or like, or our sound. Because we had been searching for a long time and for years, trying to figure out, what we want to do and stuff. And I guess what I always wanted to do is just stuff a little more musical. Take something that's not supposed to be musical and trying to make sense of it.
It's almost as if you guys dropped in a little bit more black metal influences.
Well, that was always coming in. Yeah, that's been coming in since like Karma, Bloody Karma started off that stuff, I believe. Josh is a big black metal guy. He's always has been since I've fucking known him. He's always been way into black metal and bluegrass. So, that I feel like a long time ago he started bringing that to the table, and it's flourished through certain band member changes or certain things that happen. Taking on new people. When we got Dave, certain sense of hunger came into the band, and it's been kind of doing that ever since, really.
How do you enjoy the immersive studio experience? Is that something you've always done, where you just go there, you live at the studio for a month, 2 months?
I mean,
or versus just dropping in, doing your part, and going home?
Well, for me, I do still have a lot of shit to do, because I use that time to fine tune all the stuff, the layout of the record and all that kind of crap. I really take that shit seriously, and t-shirt designs, I have to get those commissioned. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into making a record that on the back end or the back office side of things that people don't really realize or don't think about until they're doing it, and then you're just like slammed with all this shit to do, which is what I'm going to be doing.
You rush it, and then it's
and then you miss out on all these badass opportunities that you could have had to do something
like a great idea, like a beach towel.
Well,
that was a great idea.
That was a good idea. Yeah.
A little kitsch.
Yeah. I mean, coming up with ideas, shit. See, that's the thing. Those kind of things, not the beach towel, but certain conceptual ideas. I like to think of that. I think of that stuff so far out that some stuff gets built upon just having those tchotchkes or whatever. Like I could think of one thing that led to why our album is what it's going to be called next and what it's going to look like is really actually kind of sprung from a merch idea. So
that's awesome.
Not to give away too much.
Let's talk about beer. You mentioned you like to go to True Brewery when you're out in Colorado. Are you a craft beer enthusiast?
No. For me, beer is a utility thing. So I'm not gonna. On our writer, it specifically says no Bud, no Bud Light, no PBR, no garbage. Give us some good stuff. If we're gonna drink, I want it to be tasty. To be good stuff. Which completely goes against the utility thing I just said, but but I don't know how to explain it. Shit, I'm not like super into that scene. I smoke weed, but I'm not fucking Johnny 420. I just hate that shit. Like
all the different strains, and you don't dork out on that.
Just I don't know. When you live up to your stereotype, it's just annoying. I'm against that. I feel, but so the craft beer scene, I'm glad it exists because it produces fine quality beers, and that's about it. I did have I was a roommate that was like a head brewer at Ballast Point, which is one of the
that's a great brewery.
Local beer.
Yeah.
Dude, this is not even that long ago. Fuck it, 12, 13 years ago, they were just a smaller...
Yeah, they were one of the first ones.
Actually, they started right down the street.
Right down the street. We're at Brick by Brick today.
I think they're still there, yeah. And he would bring home... We had 2 pony kegs on tap at all times of amazing beer. So that's where I actually learned to differentiate beers and stuff. Because I never gave a shit. To me, it was always utility, and I never been into hard alcohol or any of that kind of shit. I love wine, and I've... Through living with that guy, I and learning about beer, I never really realized, how important it's been in our history. So that was cool to learn, and it gave me a new appreciation for those kind of spirits or whatever you want to call it.
Liquids of the gods.
Liquids of the gods. Yeah.
If you walk into a craft beer bar with your friends, what would be your go-to style of beer?
I've really been into sours lately.
Yeah, they're awesome. The sour scene in the States is amazing.
But they're also low alcohol, and I'm not trying to drink up that much. Like I like to drink. When I drink beers, I want to have a few. I can't just have one.
You don't want to get sloppy.
No, I can have one glass of wine with dinner, but fucking other than that, dude, I have to have the whole bottle. Like, not because I'm some crazy alcoholic. It's just that too. And it tastes so good. You get on a roll, and it's just fucking so good, man. So, I kind of starting to prefer more the higher alcohol content so I can drink less of them, I guess. And just get more bang for your buck. I'll be we'll have free beer backstage, Heineken or some shit, but I'll go to the bar and get the
craft stuff,
the Duchess du Bourgogne or whatever the fuck you call it.
That's a great beer, that one.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
All that kind of shit. I'm not into the Belgian ales, man.
No, they're too heavy.
Fucking can't do it. That 15, 13% shit's stupid to me.
9% most of them. But
is that what it is? Okay, I don't know.
Delicious. I remember we did have a
lot of misinformation when it comes to stuff that I don't really care about.
That's okay. I remember we did have a night together on tour in Belgium, and they had given us only Belgian ales, and both of them were 9%, and everyone got sloppy that night.
Dude, do you remember the day off going across France?
Yes, the forced day off. I have videos of that somewhere, of us partying in that lounge, and
dude,
yeah.
With me rapping?
I think maybe.
No,
don't that's ever. Not coming out.
Dude, I just
that was a fun night, though.
Fun gnarled.
Yeah, that was all of us, though. Yeah.
Chris was shit-faced by, noon or something?
And he went to bed and woke up and kept partying. I remember waking
up going, okay, cool, day off, wine day. I remember we were we're going to have wine today. Fucking those bottles were gone immediately. And Chris was woke up, or I remember waking up and he was already shit-faced. And I was like,
and he went to bed, and then he got up and again. That's what happened that night.
And by the time he woke back up and he was sober,
everyone else was
we were just
obliterated.
Yeah, dude, I was crowd surfed in the remember I crowd surfed the fucking lounge, the galley or whatever where everybody was.
Decrepit Birth, Cattle Decapitation,
that was so fun,
Cryptopsy on a bus.
Was that with Decrepit Birth?
Yeah.
The tour where we missed the fucking. They had to miss that the Underworld member.
Yeah, that sucked. That was lame because of the ferry.
Yeah, the Dublin, ferry got booked incorrectly. And we showed up super late, and Decrepit Birth had to miss their set.
That sucked. Sorry, boys. Let's talk about your vocal style. I always ask other vocalists who they think the best metal vocalist is, and 9 times out of 10 they say your name.
No,
I'm not joking. How did you come up with this voices? What is your primary go-to voice that you can pull out at any point? Because I'd say you have at least 5 voices.
Well, I don't know. I would say there's 5 going on, probably about 5 on stage.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate to call myself out, but that's why, live, if I'm doing all these different voices, they all kind of end up suffering. I wish I could fucking delete it down to narrow it down.
One voice hinders another voice.
Yeah, man. Okay. And when I started doing the cleaner shit was when I noticed other things suffering and this getting really taxing. I could go through an entire I did 4 months once without skipping a beat.
Really?
And I came off the tour sounding like I do now. But then I start adding these cleanish sounding shit.
I call it your witch voice.
Okay.
Your old lady witch voice.
Or someone was saying gremlins earlier, or goblins or something. Fair enough. But when I started adding that, then the voice degradation started happening.
For the other voices?
Yeah, for everything.
Okay.
And then I sound like some fucking...
Is it just because
old smoker...
You're pushing so hard in a different direction than usual?
I really don't know, dude. I mean, I'm just doing stuff that that comes naturally. I'm not very collegiate or what. I haven't really learned necessarily what I'm doing. I've had other people tell me. I didn't know what a fry voice was or whatever the fuck. I mean, I've been doing that. People call it zombie vocals or whatever. I've been doing that since at least 99. I never put a name on it. And now a ton of kids are doing it. But I never put a name on it.
You're like an influencer now.
Yeah, well, and all that was me trying to emulate the sound of, a high and low at once, I guess.
Yeah.
That's...
With a note almost, too.
Yeah. And then...
The attention of the note came later.
Tour.
Yeah.
Going on tour is what... And experiencing different rooms and that slapback from the other side of the room, especially when you're doing sound check and shit, I started hearing overtones in that. And then I was just like, what if I really did tweak this to where it was I'm hitting notes or I'm actually making
a tune.
So we jumped full. That started around Karma, but
That was on the next one.
Harvest Floor really started doing it, but then Monolith was where it took a little more of a front seat because, personally, I was getting kind of bored with
straight growls.
With just everything. Yeah, with doing this, I was starting to just get kind of the wind out of my sails, I guess, and we ended up switching or doing a little bit of member change, which wasn't even really the catalyst, really necessarily. I think I was just getting tired of shit, and then starting to do something new made it fun again. And then when people actually responded and they liked it, it was just like, well, I guess keep going, and it's now doable. We can make enough money to do this and to make. I mean, we live in Southern California. 4 men, now 5, trying to live in Southern California, and do this. It's really hard. So it has to fucking make sense. I'm 4 years old.
Still good.
It's still young compared to how long people
live.
A lot of other dudes our peers, our mentors that fucking we grew up with.
I saw you in Montreal on the Suffocation tour. Looking out in that crowd when you're belting out those melodies and having a group of death metal dudes singing back at you this melody like a chorus in death metal is awesome.
I love it.
It's like you found a way to sneak in choruses in death metal.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that it's being received because honestly, I went into Monolith going, well, whatever, we'll see what happens. If people hate it, fuck them.
But I remember listening to the Harvest Floor. That was my first Cattle exposure, and I was like, what is this voice? I love this.
Oh, cool.
I loved it. And then when I got to the next one, and I was like, oh my god, this is really going somewhere.
All right, good.
Yeah. Who is the biggest ego you've encountered? A bit more spicy.
Little juice?
Yeah.
You want a little juice in this? Biggest ego.
You've toured a lot, been out on the road.
It almost comes down to who do you not mind incriminating? Because
everybody's got a little bit of an ego, but most of them are manageable, and you can get around it, and you can still work with them.
Because I probably wouldn't want to answer that because I think
you don't want to burn bridges for future.
Well, it would probably be somebody that I necessarily don't hate. Because that's a specific question. I can't just say Chris Barnes, dude.
Yeah.
For one thing, the motherfucker never showed his face. So, we never, until I stepped in the room, we never fucking
even spoke to each other.
Okay. He spoke through his fucking tour manager, so can't say that. There's got to be one. Oh, maybe, I don't know. I was gonna say Glenn Danzig, but then again, not necessarily to
your crew,
to our crew, Yeah, so that's a weird one.
It's a tough question
because I want to answer it without any kind of bias.
Of course,
and that would take some thought, I think.
So same vein question. On Facebook,
Eric Golly. No,
shout
that
out
was
to
a
Eric
joke.
Galley.
Just a joke.
Everyone that doesn't know who Eric Galley is, he used to own a label. I think he still does own a label up in Montreal, Galley Records.
Oh, okay.
And he does bookings for bands up in Canada.
Okay. Yeah. He hates me.
Does he?
Well, yeah. That's why that was a joke.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought you were saying
dude, I thought you were in on the joke.
No, I didn't know.
Well.
You'll tell me after.
Yeah, Flo will probably fill you in. It's all right.
On social media, you tend to be very nasty. You're sort of you're not afraid to debate someone, and even if it's like a person, I always get the vibe that you don't even know the person, but you don't like what they said. You'll call them out on it, and you'll debate it out with them.
Sure.
Let's talk about that.
I'm just a fucking person.
What is your mindset?
What is my mind?
It's like when I see a comment I don't like, I'm like, bah, whatever. My
mindset is, look, especially being in this band, I've had our fair share of people talking shit and shit thrown at us. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what I've always done.
Yeah.
So I feel I can take it. So I guess I've just gotten used to dishing it. I don't know. I try to do it honestly, dude. A lot of it is I'm that crass comedian, like, or I would hope would be crass comedian. You know, like I used to make people laugh. I used to be a pretty funny dude, actually, and then somewhere along the line, I think it was weed or whatever, but I just kind of like lost the ability to do that. But I was kind of the class clown, you know, and there's something in me that loves making people laugh, and unfortunately, a lot of that does come back sometimes to poking fun at somebody. You know? Like it's a tool comedian, stand-up comics, and whoever use. You know, like the difference is I'm not up there being a stand-up comic. I'm supposed to be a death metal vocalist. I don't see why I can't do both.
I think you can, and you have. You always break the internet with that deathcore Halloween,
the Bobby Brutal thing. Yeah.
I have a feeling I know what you're going to dress up for this. Or what you should. I have a suggestion. I watched that Dahmer, the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
And there was like periods of his life that I was like, he really looks like Travis.
No, dude. You're talking about Ted Bundy.
I am. I am. Am I in the future?
No. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
A little bit.
Good.
I'll tell you when this thing's over.
Awesome. Because for real, there was moments I was like, oh my God.
You'll see. There's something coming up.
It looks like Travis.
There's something coming up. I can't talk about it yet.
Okay. Awesome. I'm excited.
But there is something coming up.
Excellent.
And, yeah, I've been called... People have told me I look like Ted Bundy. To be honest, it was Deicide. We did 2 tours of Deicide in like 2004 or 05. The last 2 tours with the brothers Hoffman. So those 2 guys, I forgot which one it was. I think it was Eric started calling me Ted. And they're like, it looks like fucking Ted Bundy. Oh, yeah, he does. Hey, Ted. Ha, ha, ha. And they'd call me Ted. It was really, I thought it was cool. And then nobody said anything up until like...
This Netflix thing.
Yeah, and I know what they're talking about. There's a specific...
era or period of his life.
Yes. There's this specific courtroom photo that I can totally imitate completely. But that they're talking about. And I was just like, you know what? That I can see. I get Ryan Gosling a lot, but...
Really? Oh, yeah, a little bit.
I'm starting to fill out, though, dude. I hit 40.
Too many burritos.
Just burritos and fucking beer, man. That's why I'm trying to just drink more wine, if anything, but that's not really helping.
You'll be fine. You're perfectly fine.
It's my dad's jeans.
Perfectly fine. You're wearing your dad's pants?
No.
Well, forced gender reassignment.
Yeah. What
was the mindset of making a brutal video that people couldn't even watch?
Well, it was experimental. It was more experimental than I think people have given us credit for. Meaning, I think people read a little too much into it. It was really just like, let's act out what happens on the lyrics.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking does that.
No anymore. Yeah.
Had Cannibal Corpse done entrails ripped from a virgin's cunt, we'd probably be having a different conversation right now.
Yeah.
You know, if they had acted that out on the screen. But then we did it. We did the horrible video, and we realize now, or at least I do. I shouldn't say we, but I do. Why people don't do such fucking things. The fallout there was some fallout.
Oh, I think it was only good that came from that.
Well,
I think
there was a lot of fallout.
There was 2 things.
You didn't have to deal with you didn't get to see the messages we got from the
Christian groups. That's
music, or just fans. Some people are like, dude, what are you doing? And then that's where I started seeing the word edgy being used as an insult.
Okay.
To me, that's,
I think our music's supposed to be edgy.
It's not, yeah. Isn't that kind of the point?
Yeah.
So if you're going to make fun of that, then I really hope you don't have, you can go down the line of shit that they better not have in their music collection if they're going to get pissed at that,
exactly,
or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think it got you guys a lot of recognition. It became like...
it was our most viral thing we've ever done. It got something like 3 million views before it got pulled from whatever the server
Vimeo
was that was first on.
Yeah. I can't remember.
No, it was Bloody Disgusting premiered it.
Yes.
So
that's all calculated as well.
They were the only ones able to see like the actual numbers or whatever. And I heard something like that, and that was only a couple weeks in or some shit.
That's insane. Yeah.
So, yeah, that fucking thing went nuts. And I still don't understand why. It's not that bad to me. And I'm not saying this to be edgy or to be brutal.
Yeah. There's snuff films out there that are much more
worse. I'm so desensitized, bro. I'm not saying that. What it is it's weird that fucking you have such a reaction like that when you put music to something like that. You take those images, and it could be any fucking not snuff film, but any horror movie that's released nowadays, you know. You put music to it, you put death metal music to it, all of a sudden it's instant glorification of said whatever's going on the screen. Right? And what's happening on the screen is some of the most horrible shit that I personally don't even stand by. Or that, I can't say that, but like there's things I wouldn't have done. But I gave the director free rein. I said, listen, dude, we don't have MTV to worry about. I'm paying for this, so the label has, like, I'm not concerned with if they can use it or not. It was just, I wanted to, I said, you get free reign, dude. Like, let's just act out
the lyrics.
Basically the lyrics, and here's the target of, you know, the vitriol, where it's heading, or where it's directed towards, and he did it, you know.
I heard that he mailed you the penis. Did that happen? I
have the cock, balls, all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Where do you keep this in your house?
It's actually shadow boxed, and it's up on my wall. In my office, yeah. It's all just, you know, silicone or...
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Different direction. I know that when you're at home, you sell stuff online. Right? Am I correct? How close is what you do? And you hunt for these like old vinyls that you can't find. How close is that to the old tape trading days? Because
I don't really mess with music.
No?
Nah. No? Other crap. I mean, I do music. Okay. Don't get me wrong. But that's not the focus. I had to shift focus years ago.
Okay, because the last time we were touring together, you were doing music, yeah.
Well, that was probably the main focus, but...
So what do you sell now?
Anything you can get your hands on. I'm a picker, you know?
Yeah? Do you go to, like, Storage Wars?
No.
You're not at that level yet?
No, but you know what? I've seen those dudes at stuff, at the swap meets and shit.
Okay.
You know? I go to swap meets, garage sales. I love going through other people's crap.
Does it have to be weird to fit you, or does it just have to make you money?
It has to be something I could ship.
Okay.
But
what about bands coming up, young bands? What are you listening to right now? Something that everyone should know about?
I just got that Piss Grave LP, and that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah?
And I'm not even, like, as far as extreme music goes, I don't know. I've been really into a lot of the French, well, not extreme music per se, but that whole Igor scene.
Yeah. I want to thank you for Igor, because you introduced me to that. And
I don't know how you say it, but it's called OXXOXOOX is one of the projects.
Okay, no, I don't know that.
Absolutely have to stop what you're doing. Let's just stop the interview right now and go listen to it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
You gotta fucking hear it.
Okay, we're back. That was amazing.
Yeah. And the female operatic vocals that are all throughout Igor's stuff is this woman named Laura Leprenick.
Is she the one that tours it?
Yes.
She's beautiful, yeah.
Fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Those live videos that they've been putting out there?
It's so good. It's disgusting. I'm dying to see them live. I still haven't seen them live.
Hopefully you'll catch them at a festival at least.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We were supposed to play with them in
I'm surprised you haven't brought them over and toured with them, honestly.
Dude, I helped them get... Well, I opened up Metal Blade's eyes to them, and then they signed them. And
that made me happy and also sad at the same time, because they took off all their old albums off of iTunes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What, all the fucking Blood music stuff?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's that dude.
Yeah, maybe it's back up at this point.
They should fucking release it. No, Corporament is another...
of that style? Of
their projects. Okay. It's basically Igor, but a little more metal, I guess.
Oh, cool.
A little more straightforward in the metal sense. Dude, that whole camp, that whole scene is destroying it right now. Just killing it.
If you could pick a dream tour for Cattle, who would be on that tour? 3-band package.
3-band package? I've always wanted to tour with Carcass, man.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be us headlining.
Yeah.
Like, are you talking about a headlining tour?
Sure,
or just,
whatever. Yeah. Your dream tour.
I mean, I've always wanted to tour with Carcass, but I don't know what it is. I don't think Jeff likes us.
It might happen.
He's cool. Yeah. Just
You've toured so much.
The dream tour's already happened.
Yeah, you've toured.
You know,
That's
Campaign
Suffocation.
for Musical Destruction. That's my dream tour.
Really?
Fucking yeah.
Who was on
like
that?
Well, that was like 1989 or 90 or so. You know, like fucking those are my dream tours. They already happened in the 90s. I guess I can't really. Fuck. There's too many bands.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to too much shit to really figure it out.
You're a real audiophile.
I could tell you what my dream Mexico Tijuana show would be.
Sure.
Cattle, I guess, headlining with Disgorge from Querétaro, Mexico. Paracoccidioidomycosis proctitis sarcomucosis.
Jesus.
From, I think they're Querétaro as well. I might be wrong about that. And our buddy's band, Unidad Trauma. They used to be Thanatology. I'm best friends with those dudes. We've been hanging out a lot and doing stuff together. Or just, you know, I've been hanging out and helping them do stuff, and they're fucking awesome. With a front lounge presentation by this guy, El Muerto de Tijuana.
As he's showing me his t-shirt.
He's a very interesting character. I just actually went and saw him last night.
What's he all about?
It's very bizarre. There's actually a Vice documentary about him.
Oh yeah,
a little mini documentary.
I'll have to check that
really
out.
Good. He's this very interesting character that looks like that all the time.
Yeah,
he walks around Tijuana dressed like that with these huge platform boots, and he's just kind of developed a following of his own as just a weird entity, like a weird soul. And also, he does music that's, you know what? It's the fucking, it's like the Mexican slightly mariachi. Oh, shit, I don't know which region this would be, but it's very, you know, it's hard to explain. It's not norteño. It's not ranchero. But it's got this fucking, it's very, and when I say Latino, I mean like Mexican vibe to it. There's a specific difference. That's all. He's like that version of Wesley Willis.
Okay, I got it.
But without the, you know, the mental problems. And he's just an interesting dude. He's a weird guy. He's weird, not necessarily for the sake of weird. He's very genuine, and I like that about him.
You have a very busy year coming up.
Yes.
A very busy 2.5 years probably coming up.
Yeah.
What can you announce? What do you have? You know, you're going to the studio, Dave Otero.
It's a weird time right now because I can't. I know what we're doing the rest of the year, almost,
but you can't tell.
But I can't even say anything.
You do have a string of shows coming up.
Yeah.
That you can announce. Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff with Unidad Trauma, the band I was just talking about.
Because you're gonna like gig your way towards the.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play on the way out to record, and then
Studio land.
Studio for 2 fucking months.
Yeah, Dave told me.
Almost 2 months, yeah. Like a month and a half or something, like just over that. But we've gotten used to that place now.
Yeah, it's like a second home too. Yeah.
And like when we get there, it's kind of like when we walked into this thing earlier, the bandwagon that you guys are in.
Flashback.
It's like you fucking all of a sudden, it's like
I'm home.
I never left that last tour that we did 6 months ago. You know? It's just they're all the same, and they all have that vibe, that smell. I love them.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Awesome.
We're gonna be gone for a long fucking time doing shit.
We're gonna have to flip-flop Ollie back and forth.
Yep.
He's very excited about this. I'm excited for him.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Are we gonna make him do double duty at all anytime?
I'm down. We've been talking about it.
Really?
Yeah. It's up to you guys to figure out the you and Flo to figure out the details of that.
Shit,
I'm down. We're down. I want to thank you. Thank you so much. I'm excited for the new album. I want to hear some songs.
Thanks, babe.
Ollie showed me nothing. He's keeping
Really?
it very close. His car's close to his chest.
It sounds the demos are.
Of course,
you'd hear it and you'd be like, okay.
I know Dave is
Gonna make
going to
us look
touch
like
everything. Yeah. Really appreciate you sitting down with me. I've been wanting to do this interview a long time. And
right.
You're a great dude. Always love chatting with you.
No,
Thank you so much.
Hey, in time.
Cheers. Hey, y'all. Thank you so much for listening right to the end. It was just great to be home. As I mentioned again, I love this conversation with Travis. He made me laugh. I edited it while I was on a ferry coming back from Scandinavia back into Germany. We had a day off and we headed to Hamburg, and what a day off that was. As some of you may know, days off tend to not be very restful, and you end up having a bit more fun than you should have, and that was no exception. It was fun. I'll keep it all in the books, and I won't share any of that here, but we had a good time, and we went to town and drank some good beers. Not the best beers of the tour, but we still had some fun. Huge thanks to Travis for being so forthcoming, so open, and sharing a whole bunch of interesting stories with me. I love you, dude. You're a huge mentor of mine. I think you're a great, great vocalist. I think you're extremely artistic and creative, as I mentioned in the podcast while interviewing you. Huge shout out. Extremely looking forward to your new album. Can't wait to hear it. Next week on the podcast, I have my conversation with Mike Caputo. Mike Caputo is the live drummer of Rings of Saturn, and you guys got to check out my conversation with him. He's a funny kid. You're going to enjoy the stuff that he said. I'm stoked to share all that with you on Vox and Hops episode number 35 next week. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. Hang out with your family. I'm going to. I'm home. I'm happy to be back with them. Enjoy your loved ones. Hang out with your friends. And most importantly, drink great craft beers. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.